because the kind of emissions we're adding to the atmosphere from transport are a great contributor to climate change that's coming, and actually a very solvable part. So I think what's fantastic here is that we're hearing all these experiences from different countries, lots of solutions, and that's why I think it's important. For me, what has been very interesting is the bringing together sort of experiences from countries in, Europe and America, and then having people from Latin America, the East, Africa, and whether those solutions are really transferable. So kind of problematizing that and thinking through it has been very interesting, I think. We're now starting to work very actively on passenger transport, and we're looking to 3 initiatives. The one thing I've heard at the conference here is that it's important to just give people the experience. You can't talk to people and convince them. They've actually got to feel it for themselves and take away their own learnings from it. So in that regard, we have this EcoMobility Challenge where we teams race around a route, and when people hear the word race, they all think they have to get to the end faster. No, our race is about who comes in with the lowest carbon footprint. You can go shopping along the way, visit a friend, have a cup of coffee, think about your route and get in with you can walk the whole way if you have a mind to, and then you'd probably win the race. So that's one of the things, and we try to involve city officials, organizations of people with disabilities, young people who may be studying transport planning, so a whole mix of people, so that their experience of that race can inform the work they do. We have a regular national household travel survey in this country, and it shows that one of the main trip purpose that people do here is to educational opportunities. So whether it's scholars to school or other people going to sort of further education opportunities. And so we want to do a project at selected schools, a little pilot, probably 3 schools, to see whether one can organize a lift club or some other collective solution to fetching and carrying your children and all the extramurals and everything. And it may or may not work. Parents will have their input, but it's good to test and try. So what I would focus on is that the science is telling us that we can only afford to emit a certain amount of greenhouse gases going forward. Otherwise, we take ourselves on a path beyond 2 degrees average global warming. And actually 2 degrees is even far too much for Africa. We would like to see us having strategies to try and bring us down to 1.5 or below. And countries have put on the table for the coming COP21, they're called INDCs, Intended Nationally Determined Contributions, which are sort of voluntary statements of what countries could offer to do. And the ones, about 119 countries have already put their offers on the table, and they include all the big emitters. And the offers are not adding up to bring us down below that. So I think, the worry and the risk with COP21 is that if we get locked into these offers and there is not an opportunity for countries to improve their offers, so we would argue that the agreement needs to build in some kind of review and ratchet mechanism. So there's a regular review of the aggregate emission reductions. We're suggesting every 5 years, and if they are not good enough to, that we then address a strategy to ratchet the ambition up. One of my highlights, I've been moving around all over the place using public transport, a mixture of train, minibus taxis, the tuk-tuks, and actually the tuk-tuks, I just had a fantastic relationship with this tuk-tuk guy. You know, he came to drop me here at the conference and he didn't have change. So we had a whole thing about, okay, I'm going into the conference, you'll come and drop my change with the security boom guys. And he did that. And then later, last night, walking out quite late, suddenly there was my tuk-tuk guy. Yay, it's you! You know, I just, the thing about being out and about on the streets instead of in the bubble of your private car is it really makes your day much better. You know, you interacting with people, just getting a feel of what people's lives are, who your fellow residents are, it's just fabulous.